Welcome dear subscribers, we are glad to see you on our channel. Today we decided to change the content of our videos a bit and present to you a culinary video with a step-by-step instruction on marinating tomatoes and cucumbers in tomato juice in glass jars. We are sure you will find it very interesting. To not miss our new videos, subscribe to our channel and give a like to this video. We strive to create interesting and useful content for you, and your support is very important to us. Enjoy watching. The pickling of tomatoes and cucumbers in tomato juice is a traditional method of preserving vegetables that is widely used in Central Asia. This method was developed in ancient times and is still popular in the region. The history of vegetable pickling in Central Asia goes back to ancient times. Tomatoes and cucumbers were one of the main vegetables grown in the region, and pickling has been a popular way of preserving them for centuries. Traditionally, tomatoes and cucumbers are pickled in salted water or tomato juice with the addition of spices and herbs. This preserves the freshness and flavor of tomatoes for a long time. Marinated tomatoes are used in a variety of dishes such as salads, sauces, and preserves. Over time, with the advent of new methods of preserving and storing foods, the popularity of marinating tomatoes has declined a bit. However, it still remains an important part of the culinary heritage of Central Asia and continues to be used in home cookery and restaurants. The process of pickling tomatoes and cucumbers in tomato juice includes several steps. First, it is necessary to rinse the tomatoes thoroughly under running water. This will completely clean the tomatoes from dirt and soil residues, as well as remove possible harmful microorganisms. It is recommended to use cool running water to rinse the tomatoes. Place the tomatoes under the running water and rub them gently with your fingers to remove any dirt. Pay special attention to the stems and other areas where dirt may accumulate. The second step involves the process of putting the tomatoes through a meat grinder to extract the tomato juice. This step extracts the juice from the tomatoes and creates the base for the marinade. To do this, prepare the meat grinder by installing a suitable attachment for chopping tomatoes. Tomatoes should be cut into large pieces so that they are easily passed through the meat grinder. Once all the tomatoes have been put through the grinder, the resulting tomato juice can be used for further marinating vegetables or for cooking other dishes. The tomato juice, which has been minced through a meat grinder, should be poured into a cauldron or deep saucepan. Put the cauldron on medium heat and bring the juice to a boil. Then reduce the heat to low and simmer the tomato juice for 15 minutes, stirring occasionally. It is important to monitor the cooking process and regulate the temperature to prevent the tomato juice from overheating or burning. After 15 minutes of cooking, turn off the heat and let the juice cool before using it for marinating tomatoes. The ready tomato juice can be used to pour over tomatoes in glass jars and to create a delicious marinade. Well-washed red sweet peppers, cucumbers, cabbage, garlic, red hot peppers, horseradish, dill, and coriander should be cut into small pieces. To start, take the red sweet peppers and remove the seeds and stems. Then cut the peppers into thin strips or cubes, depending on your preferences. Don't forget to thoroughly wash the glass jars before using them. For safety and long-term storage of pickled tomatoes, it is recommended to sterilize the glass jars. This can be done by placing the jars in a large pot of water and bringing it to boil. Keep the jars in boiling water for 10-15 minutes, then carefully remove them with tongs or kitchen spatula. Starting with washed vegetables and spices, we begin to layer them in the jar. The first ingredient we put in is the red sweet pepper to give the marinade a delicate and sweet flavor. Then we add horseradish, cabbage, garlic, dill, coriander, bay leaf, cucumbers, tomatoes, black whole peppercorns, red chili pepper, and sugar. Each of these ingredients will impart a special aroma and taste to the tomato juice. Finally, based on taste preferences, we add salt to emphasize and balance all the flavors in the marinade. The finished pickled tomato juice with these ingredients will be an excellent addition to various dishes or simply as a refreshing drink. After all the necessary ingredients have been placed in the jar, it's time to pour in the tomato juice. Carefully and gently, we pour the tomato juice into the jars to completely cover the vegetables and spices. It's important to make sure that the juice sufficiently fills the jar, leaving a small amount of free space at the top for expansion and the fermentation process. Then the jars are tightly sealed with lids to prevent air from entering and to preserve the freshness and flavor of the marinade. We place stones on the top of the lids to provide additional pressure, which helps to keep the vegetables and spices fully submerged in the liquid. After the jars have been filled with ingredients and closed with lids, they should be placed in a suitable container for a water bath. A water bath is an effective method for sterilizing and preserving jars with pickled vegetables and spices. For this, you can use special steamers or large pot with a rack at the bottom so that the jars don't touch the directly heated surface. It's important to make sure that the jars are tightly closed and have no damage to prevent water from entering inside. The correct time for the jars to be held in the water bath is usually around 10-15 minutes. During this time, at a maintained temperature of about 85-90 degrees Celsius. The jars and their contents undergo complete sterilization. This process destroys harmful microorganisms and ensures long-term preservation of the marinade without the risk of spoilage or bacterial growth. After the water bath process, the jars are carefully removed and the sealing process begins. For this, a special tool called the jar wrench is used. This tool securely closes the jars, ensuring airtightness and preservation of the contents. The jar wrench typically has a handle and a rubber gasket that helps to securely fasten the lid onto the jar. When sealing the jars, it's important to ensure that the lid tightly fits the jar's mouth to prevent air from entering and to preserve the freshness of the product. After sealing the jars, it's recommended to check for air tightness by pressing the center of the lid. If the lid doesn't give in to pressure and doesn't move, it means the jar is tightly sealed. The finished jars are now ready for storage in a cool and dry place until used. We wish you a pleasant appetite. If you want to learn more about the process of cooking various dishes and enjoy an authentic experience, come to Uzbekistan. We will be happy to show you the entire cooking process live and share with you our best recipes. We hope to see you on our channel and meet you in person during your travels. Goodbye for now. See you soon.